What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/TalesFromTheCustomer. Alright, this story's called, "We won't price adjust, but you can return and repurchase the item for the sale price." A couple of months ago, I was caught in a bizarre loophole with the popular blue and yellow electronics superstore. I by no means blame anyone involved, despite the annoyance of going through greater lengths than necessary to achieve the same end result. I bought my boyfriend a Chromebook to replace his old laptop with a damaged screen, and wouldn't you know it, 5 days later it went on sale. However, it was on sale due to, I think, President's Day or some similar excuse for a store-wide sale. The Chromebook I bought him was now on sale for $120 less than what I paid for it, which was about 50% off, which is absolutely nothing to sneeze at. However, I'm not one to just go out to a store and expect something to happen. Before I decided to head to the store with the receipt for a price adjustment, I contacted them via live chat to ensure that they still price adjust previous purchases within a certain time frame. I don't remember verbatim, but this was about the gist of the conversation.
"Hi, thank you for contacting Blue and Yellow Electronics customer service. How may I help you?"
"Hi, 5 days ago I purchased a Chromebook which is now on sale. I was just wondering if you still do price adjustments within a certain time frame."
Yes, we still honor price adjustments within 14 days of purchase. However, because of the President's Day sale, the item in question is not eligible to be price adjusted."
Well, that's somewhat understandable, I guess, but I bought this Chromebook literally 5 days ago, so it's still within the return period. Couldn't I just return it and rebuy it for the sale price? It kinda just seems like unnecessary extra steps to get to the same destination.
Like I said, unfortunately we cannot price adjust the item at this time.
I understand that, but what I asked is whether or not I'd be able to return the item and rebuy it at the cheaper price, or has your return policy changed due to the sale?
I'm sorry, but we cannot make any changes to the price at this time. Is there anything else I can help you with?
I mean, it felt like I was talking to a brick wall. At that point, I just decided to disconnect the chat and head over to the store. Surely they couldn't deny my desire to return something, since it was within the return period, regardless of whether or not the item was used. So I get to the store, and after waiting in line at the service desk for about 15 minutes, it was my turn. I asked the employee for a price adjustment, and while he tried, the system simply wouldn't allow him to do it due to the sale. So he called a manager over for an override. The manager comes over, and the employee explains the situation. The manager looked at me and said,
"Sorry, we can't do a price adjustment, but you can return this one and go and get another one for the sale price."
I cocked my head to the side and said, "So you won't override the system to do a price adjustment, but I can return this, go walk all the way to the back of the store to pick up the same exact item, and then buy said item for the sale price. Doesn't that seem excessively unnecessary just to get the same result?" Oh, that's a woman? Okay, well, she's got a deep voice. The manager shrugged her shoulders and walked away. I resigned and allowed the employee to process the return of the Chromebook. Before he handed me my receipt, though, the employee laughed a little to himself while looking at the screen. "Sir, unfortunately, it looks like this particular Chromebook is out of stock. If you'd like, I could sell you this one." He pointed to the one I just returned. "That would be awfully kind of you, and I'd appreciate it immensely." The employee rang up the Chromebook for the sale price of $120, charged my store credit card, and handed me both receipts for the return and the purchase. At least someone else realized how absolutely asinine the situation was. Needless to say, I was happy to have saved $120, and my boyfriend got a Chromebook for his online college. What did I learn from this experience? Check for upcoming sales before making any purchase, especially at the Blue and Yellow Electronics store. Oh, please note, yes, I know I may have been a little difficult by questioning it versus simply accepting the fact that I just have to return the one I bought and buy a new one. I was fighting on the principle of the fact that it was was unnecessarily extra steps or hurdles just to get the same thing. Well, that's how these corporate structures and legal stuff happens, all right? You want something done, you have to jump through all these little hoops to get to it. But that's just how things work when you're dealing with a complex set of rules and stuff, right? You get what I'm saying, I hope. Alright, this story's called Two Vets, a Different Story. Hello! I was reminded of this story by another post on this sub. Was too long to include as a comment, so I'm making my own Tale of Two Vets story. This reminded me of something that happened when my boyfriend and I took his cat to the vet. He had an outdoor cat. I know that's bad, but she really wasn't his. She just kind of adopted them. I think she was abandoned as a kitty. They fed her and did manage to get her the necessary shots for a kitten, and she was quite comfortable with the family, but still a feral cat. Plus, they couldn't keep her inside anyway due to allergies. He did always bring her into the garage when the weather was extremely cold. Tangent over. Anyway, one day, Cat, that's actually what we called her, she didn't have any other name, comes to eat. It's cold outside, so my boyfriend brings her in. He comes to me with a totally confused look on his face. I need you to look at something. Okay, what is it? There's a hole in my cat. Cue, what the fuck face? I go out there and sure enough, there is a chunk of cat missing on her side, all the way down to the muscle. Oddly enough, Cat was not even phased. She was moving around completely normally, jumping and eating and everything. It was right before Christmas and we were supposed to be traveling the next day, but it was clear that the wound was severe and we couldn't treat it properly at home. We called the 24-hour emergency vet who said it would definitely need antibiotics, but if she was acting fine, we could wait to take her to the regular vet. So we called the vet that his family used. They are super sweet on the phone and managed to work us in the same day. The place was kind of run down, very small, but everyone was so nice. The vet who saw Cat was all scratched up, occupational hazard, and wearing scrubs with no makeup, okay? Cat was screaming like she was being murdered in the carrier, but was an angel for the doctor, who examined her with the utmost care. The doctor was aware that she was an outdoor cat and didn't give us any crap for it. She informed us that Cat would need to have the wound surgically closed, and they were unable to do that at their very small clinic, but they would call the surgery center nearby right away so we could take her straight there. Awesome. So we go to the surgery center. It's super posh. Looks more like a doctor's office or a spa for humans, not animals. Not a soul was there except the receptionist. Cat is screaming. We tell the receptionist that the other vet called. She basically rolled her eyes at us. The judgment was tangible, especially when we told her her name was Cat. We get into the exam room and the vet is dressed to the nines under the lab coat. Heels, makeup, the whole deal. She is very short with us, clearly because outdoor cats are frowned upon. With good reason, but again, the situation was a little different. She tells us Cat will need to stay for surgery under sedation and that she will need antibiotics and ointment for about 2 weeks. She will also need to stay inside. Of course, we said no problem. Boyfriend and I were supposed to be on the road to visit my mom out of state that day, so we had arranged for his brother to come pick up Cat after surgery. So we asked the vet about how long the surgery would take. I don't know. She has to be sedated. Okay, but we're going out of town today, so she cuts us off. You know someone is gonna have to take care of her. She will need medicine every day. And so on, just laying into us. We said something along the lines of, but slightly more polite than, oh, really? We were just gonna chuck her back outside and leave her there, drugged up with a freshly sutured wound. We told her someone else would be picking her up, and that was that. She just left. Cat got her surgery, brother picked her up and cared for her while we were gone. I wasn't there for her 2-week follow-up, but apparently the receptionist and the vet were total benches. Worse than the first time. Thank you to user, without climbing for reminding me of this story.
Final edit!
I should have said my boyfriend at the time, as we are no longer together, but I believe he did mention the bad attitude of the people at the surgery center the next time he took his dogs to the vet. Also, thank you for the comments and upvotes. I'm still fairly new to Reddit and definitely still new to posting. Feels good to know that people are enjoying reading and sharing their experiences. Oh gosh. I mean, I guess at some point vets should be a little judgy because there are some idiots that are pet owners. No, there are a lot of idiots that are pet owners, but she should at least give the people the benefit of the doubt, if not ask for clarification as to, the living situation before she starts spouting judgment like she was. But, of course, ain't nobody got time for that, at least according to her. Alright, this story's called How the Richest Man in the World Sent Me a New Steering Wheel. Alright, so I guess this sub fits the story, but let me know if I'm mistaken. This story takes place a couple years back, around the first week of December. My birthday is the last week of November, so I usually take advantage of the Black Friday deals to get something nice for myself. I've always liked sim racing games, realistic racing games for those who don't know, and I had busted my crappy steering wheel during the summer. So I decided to get a decent one off a big retailer named after a rainforest, after they had the cheapest price on the one I wanted. 200 euros instead of the more typical 400 euros that it usually sold for during the year. So I bought it, it was on its way, life was good. The day it was supposed to arrive, I got an email. There had been an issue with delivery, so they would reschedule. I called customer support, they marked it as a priority delivery, and that same evening, my wheel came. As soon as I saw the package, I knew the wheel was messed up. The box was almost completely destroyed, wet and covered with adhesive tape. Is tape not typically adhesive? I recorded myself opening the box just in case, and I found out everything in the package was destroyed. The wheel was cracked and the casing was split in two, the buttons on the right side were hanging by a wire, and the pedals were misaligned with the rails in the pedal box. I immediately called customer support, and the poor guy talking to me on the phone was super apologetic. He tried to send me a new one, but you see, the computer would not allow him to do so. The computer said that there were no units left in the warehouse, so I had to make do with the refund and buy a new one in the future. I asked him if I would be able to buy it at the same price I bought it for, and he said no, so I would have to pay full price. Yes, that was unacceptable. I asked to speak with someone who could override the computer and maybe just write somewhere that as soon as the new wheels come in, send a new one to this fella here. I could wait. They passed me on to a supervisor who repeated the same mantra again and again. The computer says no, I can't go against the wishes of the computer. There's nothing we can do. Alright, then let's keep escalating. There must be someone here with executive decision-making power, right? I asked to speak with the supervisor, and they told me that I could not be passed on to her, but they would ask the manager to call me as soon as possible. About 1 hour later, I get a phone call. I ask for someone who can either A, send me a new wheel whenever possible, or B, send me a coupon so I can buy the wheel at the same price in the future. The manager says that she can't do either of those things and that my options here are limited to taking the cash or keeping the wheel. I ask for her manager, and she says the worst possible thing to say at that time.
There is no one above me you can talk to. I'm sorry. If you want to reconsider your options, you can call me again at this number and we'll get your return started.
No one above her? She works at the world's largest retailer. The only one with no one on top is the CEO, and she sure as hell isn't him. So what can I do? I send an email to the man himself. You see, I read an article years ago about him, and apparently he has an email address of the name@company.com variety, which he likes to read in order to gain a more customer point of view on issues vibe. Sometimes when someone escalates a complaint to his email account, he may take an interest on the issue, and crap gets done. So I shoot an email explaining the situation and asking him for help overriding this computer who has apparently taken over the company. 24 hours later, I receive a reply from a VP level executive from my national branch of the Rainforest Company with the confirmation that a new steering wheel was on my way, and kindly requesting that I send the old one back for analysis. They were even sending a messenger to make things easier. To this day, I am convinced that a senior vice president at the largest online retailer in the world had to run out to a mall and buy a steering wheel to send my way because I decided to email his boss's boss's boss. Damn, bro, you're like max level Karen right here. Check yourself. I'm just kidding. That's badass. Alright, this story's called Rental Car Company.
We texted you that we didn't have any cars.
I rented a car through a third-party app that searches through lots of companies and gives you a good deal. They don't tell you what company you get until you pay, but they are all at the airport, so I figured it didn't matter. When I found out the name, it was not a national company, but again, I figured all the same at the airport. Arrived on plane, got to rental company, and they said they didn't have any cars. Said they had been texting me repeatedly to let me know. I asked what number they had been texting, and it was a 6-digit number. They missed one number, which was on their paperwork. Who texts a 6-digit number? And don't you think you would call? At least she was willing to speak to the third-party customer service with my cell phone after I called them, so I could get a refund. Did I also mention she wasn't wearing a mask the entire time, despite a statewide order in place? I was able to walk to a neighboring national rental place, and get a car for about the same price, but couldn't believe the customer service. Moral of the story, neglect small businesses and shoot for the national chains. That's what the lesson is here, right? Big business shill! Where's Theodore Roosevelt when you need him? That goddamn beautiful trust buster.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.